Hi, friends. Welcome back. There we go. Welcome back. My name is Caitlin. I'm so excited to be hanging out with you. I saw some of my girls over in the comments already saying, hey. I saw Heather's back, Michelle, Virginia. So if you guys are watching and you want to go ahead and drop a comment so I know that you are there, that would be amazing. Like Susan, Michelle's checking in from Illinois. That's fun. Oh, and you're new. Welcome. So yeah, I am here live with Pink and Main every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Just, making some cards, getting crafty, getting inky. Oh, Beatrice is new too. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be a good night, guys. I can already tell. Yeah, it's been already a crazy week and it's only Tuesday. You might be able to see here, I got some new lights finally, right? So hopefully that sorts out some of the issues that I've been having. Yeah. So tonight I just want to do some coloring. I just want to have some Copic fun. Obviously, any of the coloring tips we go over, you could do with any kind of alcohol marker or use these as inspiration for whatever kind of coloring you prefer. But I pulled out a tried and true favorite of mine, the window view stamp set. And I thought that it would be cute just to make like a generic all the time, anytime kind of card, because next week starts sneak peeks. And from that point on, for a while, it's probably going to be fall heavy for me. I'm just going to warn you now. So let's soak up this last bit of summer crafting. And let me switch us over. There we go. I see Mary checking in. All right, so I have stamped out these images from the window view stamp set, right? I have my window. I have the little flower box. It goes this way. We have our little bee and this sweet little pup who's going to be peeking up out of the window. We're going to use some ice rink cardstock and some pebble cardstock to layer up and then add these. And I also grabbed a vintage photo distress ink mini cube. I have been trying really hard to only use Pink and Main inks for our projects, but we don't have a brown. And the other colors are fun, but they are bright. And I love them, but I don't love them for a house right now. So we're going to add in a little distress ink. And I think it's going to be just fine. So I also grabbed the Buzz stamp set because this window view stamp set only has this one little thinking of you sentiment. And with the dog looking at the bee, I just felt like that wasn't really going to fit. So we're going to borrow the What's the Buzz from this one on our card when we get there. So I already have my panels cut out. My pebble cardstock is trimmed down to an A2 standard size. So that's 5.5 by 4.25. And my ice rink is trimmed down to a 1/2 inch in either direction. So 3 3/4 by 5. We're going to do some shading on that. My nail just broke. Oh no. Okay. Let me get my extra pebble out of the way. And I stamped my images down in my asphalt ink a while ago and let them dry, maybe about 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, just so that the ink would have time to set up and we're less likely to get smears. Let's see. I see Kim checking in. That looks pretty good. Lighting looks pretty decent, I think. I didn't grab any Copics for these, by the way, starting out. So we'll just have to see how this goes. I'm thinking because we're going to do brown, like under blending under the window, but maybe our bricks should be on the like more brown tan side. So let's start off there. Let's start off. I don't want them too like orangey. Maybe in the 20s. Let's try. We're going to go E25. And I'm going to my default lighting in my brain is always coming from the top right. I blame my father if he's watching from years of painting like fake rocks on walls. So our shading is going to be the opposite of that. Our shadows are going to be the bottom and the left. I'm still going to hold true to that even behind these shutters, which is probably not technically accurate, right? But at least it'll look cohesive. And we're going to do that on these bricks all the way across, or stones. I guess they're not really like brick red. You could definitely color these in with red shades. You could make these like cream. You could make them painted brick and they can be whatever color you want. There's a couple little spots kind of like between the window and the shutters. So I'm also going to pull that color down there a little bit. We're going to switch to 23. Pull that color out a little bit. Seems like my camera's having a little bit easier of a time focusing tonight, so that's good. I know we're only 2 days in, but how is everybody's week going? Let me know. I'm going to pull some of this medium shade now in and around. Then we're going to jump up to 21 and fill those in, as well as the space between the bricks. I'm going to start pulling that color out even more. And we're going to fill in these edges so that when the die cuts everything out, we don't have any white edges. It'll all kind of run into that tan section, which will make our ink blended shadow mesh better with everything. And that doesn't have to be exact either. Once we get the die in place and we see like where everything is laying, it'll be good. Yeah, Virginia, we got those bad storms through here last night, and then luckily it was pretty nice today. Heather, me too. I got a new job back in June, back in the office full time, and it has definitely been a big transition. So completely understand where you're coming from. All right, for the window frame, I'm going to keep it white. So we don't want to actually leave it white or it'll look like it got forgotten. So I'm going to take just the tiniest bit of my neutral gray 3 and start adding some shading to the corners and across the center there. Our little windowsill can be white too, so we'll add a little bit of shading there. Then we're going to jump up to N1. Pull that color out a little bit. We want to add in some shadows without taking away all of the white space. The white space is what's going to still let this read as a white windowsill and not gray. So my last marker is going to be a colorless blender. This is just going to help to dilute that ink and make sure that everything melts together really well. For some reason, my brain is telling me that my shutters need to be blue. So I think we're going to go like navy blue. Let's do like a bright navy. We'll go 30s versus 90s for my bees. And I definitely don't have all of the Copics, so just keep that in mind. If you have access to more or different colors, the same shading placements and things like that will work beautifully no matter what colors you're using. So I kind of edged all the way around my, like the little shutter boxes. Now we're going to go in between the slats. And on the underside, where one is overlapping the other, there would be a shadow. And in this little corner, there's these little triangles that would be shadowed too. Just go and fill that in first. That. Those crazy storms hit last night, and like part of our fence tried to blow away. Our hammock flipped itself over the fence and was like in the front yard for a little bit. That was fun. Luckily, those two things didn't end up causing any more damage. That was my main concern, was that one of those was going to hit something or somebody. So I'm jumping from 39 to 37. We're going to go in and start shading, leaving the very outer edge open for our highlight color. I'm going to try my hardest to leave at least a sliver of white on each of these slats. I feel like my eyes are already playing tricks on me with these though. There we go. I think I'm holding my marker really tight. I can feel it in my hand already. And we have a lot more coloring to do, so that's not a good sign. Then my lightest shade is going to be, I think, 34. That's kind of a big jump. Let's see. Yeah, it'll be okay. We'll just go in a row. So 39, 37, now to 34. And I'm gonna just shade in everything that's left. And this is such a cute set too, because if you're making these for somebody, making a card like this for someone specific, you could like customize all these elements to match their house. And I think that would be so cute. We have blue shutters, so maybe that's where my head was at. Hey, Maria, thanks for checking in. And I'm also going to go back in and make sure the hinges are all blue as well. Very nice. We need a room color and I need a curtain color. Maybe our room can be pretty neutral. We use what, 20s? So do I have an E20? I don't think I do. Let's go 30. We'll just do a solid E30. Nice kind of soft, creamy background for our inside wall. If anyone has any requests for these curtains, let me know. Just going to do one solid color for the inside of the room because our little pup is going to probably pop in his head up at the bottom. And I want him to kind of pull the focus anyway, so there's no reason to go crazy with my shading there. I'm going to start on the dog and the bee and give you guys a minute. Somebody throw out a color suggestion for me for the curtains. For the bee, we're going to go in with some Y19 as my shadow color on the face and kind of the underside of the belly. Then we will jump to 15. Start shading that out. He's pretty little. We could have probably done this in 2 shades if I'm being honest, but it's fine. Y02 is a little rough, I think, would be like a dark, make it black-ish. So I'm gonna just do some like little tiny hash mark lines, not hash mark, little flicks with my N8. Then we'll jump up to 5 to shade that in so that we don't lose all that texture. And my favorite go-to for bee wings is a BG10 or 11. I just love that little bit of like blue. It gives like that iridescent kind of feel. So there's our little bee. Doesn't have to be crazy. And for our dog, let's make him like a little black and white dog, like a little Frenchie or something. I think his eye spots are going to be white. I'm not sure if that's actually like the most common, but I really want to keep the area around the eyes nice and bright, and I don't want to risk things getting too dark. We'll give them little black paws. Heather says a dark brown curtains. We could work with that, like a chocolatey curtain. That could be fun. Then the flowers, if we go neutral for the curtains, the flowers and the bee will really stand out, which could definitely be fun. Oh, Susan says yellow curtains. That could be nice too if we keep them like a softer, like you said, like a buttery kind of shade. We went N8, N6, now I'm going N4 to finish out these black spots on the dog. Add a little bit of that same color as the shading on the white areas. Let's jump up to N2. Add a little color at the inside of the ear. Ooh, a little more color up through that white area. And then I'm going to go N0 instead of colorless blender to blend that out. And that highlight on the nose is a little too big. I forgot to go with some of that. Go. Now when we go in with our R20 to add pink inside the ears and to the tongue, that will help to kind of pull everything together. And there's a spot for an eye color. Let's go like a really deep green. There we go. And I'm going to just take my white gel pen and reinforce the eye highlights. I do like the idea of the brown, but now that I'm seeing like the dog and the bee and everything, I think if we go a little bit of a softer yellow, I think that will be nice. And I want to show you a trick that I like to use shading in my yellows, because yellows can be tricky when you're trying to add shadows to things, because a darker yellow really just starts looking orange. So what I'm going to do is go in with a V. We're going to shade this with a purple. So I'm going V91, okay, which is this really nice pale grape color. And we're going to start, you don't want to go too dark of a purple, but because yellow and purple are opposites on the color wheel, they're going to neutralize each other, and we're going to get like a gray kind of shadow, but one that fits yellow specifically without looking orange. So you can see the like start of our shading. Then I'm going to go to Y23 and overlap and go a little bit thicker. So I'm almost treating that purple as if it's my darkest shade. I'm going to jump up one to a Y21, which in fact does not look any lighter. It just looks brighter, which is not what I was expecting. So let's switch that up. Okay, that's good to know. Let's go Y11. And this is with the other colors I put in. It's still looking orangier than I would like. So we're just going to reinforce it with another, you know what, let's bump it up. I'm going to go one deeper. We're going to go V93 instead of the 91. Yep. You can also do BVs for this. I'm just going to neutralize that purple one more time by going in with just a little extra hint of that lightest yellow. Right, so we get some of that shadow without it pulling just orange, which is fun and like a different thing you can play with. Oh, good, Michelle. I'm glad you're learning. I know sometimes the purple thing can be a little bit daunting, but if you start off lighter, knowing that you can always go darker, it takes a lot of the fear out of it for me anyway. So, all right, we have a flower box. Let's just stick with the limited palette now that we're kind of yellows and blues, right? Let's make our flower box match our shutters. That's the wrong B. Not 99, 39. So I'm going to add in my shadows along the lip of this little flower box, as well as right under any of the plants hanging over. So there we go. Oh, thank you, Angie. That was very nice. I try to be a great teacher. Sometimes I still feel like I have so much to learn that I don't really feel like I'm teaching as much as like just sharing tips I've learned. But as long as you get the message, I guess is the most important part, right? Oh, Michelle, that's what a great gift. Michelle said that a friend of hers moved away and gifted her their entire Copic collection. That seems like a sign from the universe, Michelle, that it is time to learn Copics. All right, I really want my greens to be really bright and pretty. I'm going to pull out my Copic hex chart. If you haven't seen me use this before, this is the Sandy Allnock hex chart, which is a lifesaver for me when it comes to picking my Copics. So I am thinking, see, I'm already changing what I picked. I'm thinking like a G7, maybe YG17, and then like a YG03, because I want a good contrast. I still want these to be really bright and like happy. All right, we're going to start with YG7. I'm going to go into all of these bigger leaves and start adding in a little shading along like that main central vein of the leaf. And then on these ones that are like a little bushier, I'm just gonna kind of do just like squiggles and just guess in here what might be leaf versus flower. I'm gonna switch to my 17. Start shading all of that in a little more. Just kind of like dotting, like stippling in some spaces. Especially these areas like kind of between the flowers. And then YG03 to fill all of that. I'm gonna try to avoid the flower petals. And I do want some yellow in here, but I don't want only yellow. I'm thinking like yellow and pink maybe. We'll pull in the pink with those colors. Let's go with like a RV pink. Let's go RV 19 and 25. See how that does. And then add some shading kind of to like the bottom cup part and then the center. And then go in with that RV 52. Which is definitely a good bit lighter, but kind of like that contrast. And you know what? We'll use that same deeper pink on all these little itty bitty flowers. And then some happy yellows in our flower bed. Let's go back to Y23 and Y11. Right? Maybe they planted these flowers specifically because they realized that they matched the curtains. Yes, I cannot recommend Sandy Allnock's classes enough to you. They're amazing. I have also learned a lot of my Copic knowledge from Amy Young. And she has a YouTube page called Adventures in Coloring with Amy, and she colors most Saturdays live, and it's free to like just watch and hang out with her. And she does full crazy Copic scenes. So that is another one that I would recommend adding to your list, Michelle. All right, I just shaded in the center of those with a little M40. So there's our little flower box, our sweet, here we go, little pup and bee, and then our window. So let's get those cut out. Hey, Irma, thanks for checking in. We have our window. Pup might have to wait for the second pass. I might have stamped these a little too close. We've got bee, and we've got window box. Window box is going to have to wait too. That's fine. We'll do 2 and 2. Right. Window and Art B, and I'm going to run this off camera through my die cutting machine. That's how it works. The plates were going to end up off of the platform. So then it would only partially cut. All right, there is our window. There is our B. I also love the idea, I'm just throwing this out there, if anybody else is like a shaker card fiend like me, that this would be really fun to like X-Acto knife out either the whole window and the curtains or just like the inner parts and make this into a shaker card too. We haven't really done a lot of shakers. Maybe that's what we'll do on Thursday. We'll make a fun shaker card, fun flat shaker. Thank you so much, Heather. Yeah, Adventures in Coloring with Amy is her Facebook page. And you can also always go back and watch like her lives afterwards, just like these ones. You can always come back and watch us on Facebook or YouTube after the fact if you missed it, or you need a refresher, or you want to see what a color combination was that we used. You can do the same thing for Amy. Michelle says she loves learning shakers, so I think that means that that's what we have to do on Thursday. Go ahead and twist my arm, Amy. No, not Amy, Michelle. I have Amy on the brain now. All right, so before I start building my little scene, I'm going to hold up my window and I'm going to take a pencil. Oh, Susan needs shaker practice too. All right, no problem. I'm going to lift up my window and just kind of draw in my line kind of under so that I don't have to worry about erasing anything later. So just like barely tucked in under those bricks. And this is just going to help me so I don't have to hold up my panel as much. Right, so now I have kind of a rough guide of what's visible and what's not going to be visible once my window's in place. How many And pieces of printer paper do I have under here? Yeah, pink and mean shaker bits. Definitely fun. All right, so I'm going to start a little bit inside of my sketched area and just start doing little tiny circles to start pulling that color out. And it seems really light at first, but once you like hold your window back up, you can start to see that that color is there and is kind of popping up from underneath. And I definitely don't want my color to come all the way to the top. And if you're gonna do little circles like me, try to make sure to do both directions, especially if you're using a foam applicator and not a brush like me. This is that Tim Holtz Distress Ink Vintage Photo. Go, let's hold up our window. I think that looks pretty good. Not applying any more ink to my applicator, just trying to make sure I have a nice smooth blend. There we go. If you had like a brick pattern stencil, you could also do that and kind of have like a soft brick where it like fades away. That would be really pretty, really cute. All right, I'm going to adhere my ink blended panel down flat. And my window down flat because our window box and our animals are going to be popped up. Sorry, I still have you guys zoomed in from Copic. There we go. Before I add any of my other elements though, we can leave this one here to like hold the place, but we need to get our sentiment figured out. So I think I'm gonna add my What's the Buzz to the top, right? Because this is a pretty hefty stamped image. What the Buzz fits like so perfectly up there. So we don't even need that as a place. So I wasn't sure if I was going to put it at the top or the bottom, but the top seems to be the answer. And because we used blue for the shutters, I'm going to go ahead and grab Barbershop ink from Pink and Main, which is a super beautiful deep navy. Put it right here. We have our Barbershop ink. What's the Buzz? Get my microfiber towel. For your sentiment. Okay, and my foam tape is right under here as well. Get these guys popped up, and that is Hey, Julianne. I don't know if I said hi to you when you popped in. All right, some foam on our flower box. And you could definitely put it like right underneath, right up against that window, but I'm gonna put it just a little bit lower so that it does kind of fill out this bottom area. It might not be kind of how it would be in real life, but that's okay. Add a little foam to our pup. So cute. And he's just gonna be like, he is just so excited to be able to look outside, clambering up on that windowsill. And then B, you know what, we'll just do the B flat onto the flowers. Up a little bit in the corner so they look like they're looking at each other, like they're little friends. He's telling this little puppy all the dirt from the neighborhood. He's just going house to house, listening to the drama and then reporting back to our puppy. And that is our sweet little scene. What's the buzz? Right, and then I need to get more side folding card bases per usual. But all I would do is add liquid glue to the back of this and pop this on an A2 sized card base and you'd be good to go. So I hope that you enjoyed that. We will be back on Thursday, definitely with a shaker or flat shaker card, because I've decided that that's going to happen. So if there's anything specific, any themes, topics, other techniques that you are interested in, colors, any requests for our shaker card on Thursday, definitely leave me a comment here, wherever you're watching from. I will go back and check. I'm so grateful to you guys for coming to hang out. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope you did learn some fun things. And I'll be back to hang out with you again on Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Facebook or YouTube. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great day tomorrow. And until next time, friends, happy crafting!